What's up, guys? It's Bloop again for Esports. I'm here with Odoamne, top laner for Rogue. First of all, Odoamne, thank you very much for being here and congratulations on that regular season.
No problem. Happy to be here.
I wanted to talk about especially the last couple of weeks and last couple of games. You had a kind of strange loss against Excel on the last Super Week. So I want to ask about that game and especially about the defeats that Rogue had on the regular season, since you guys are a team that is very consistent on the BO1s. So I want to know what went wrong, especially on that game against Excel.
Uh, Let me try and think. And I think against Excel we made the mistake in draft because Stan kind of became flavor of the month, and we are thinking if we should just like pick it on 4 or just let it to 5 pick and counter it. And instead, I think we made a mistake in draft. I think we didn't really react well to how the second ban phase went and what our 4 pick should have been, because I think we should just pick jungler there because they already showed jungler. And if they pick Sion, then we should just counter it, you know? But instead we picked Gnar on 4, which I feel like was not great. I mean, wasn't bad either, you know, because we knew that they're going to pick Sion no matter what. So I think the big problem was that we picked Gnar into Sion, and then we lost Herald, because I think I misplayed, or like me and Inspire didn't really judge the situation well, and we lost the Herald there. And what that means is that my snowball kind of stops, you know, because I think I was at that situation when Herald was up. I was like 26 ahead, 2 plates up, and after they get that Herald, they get to just swap with their bot lane and open up the map and just start taking tier ones. And then it becomes a lot more difficult for me to start pressuring when their bot lane will take 2 towers, be mid with a lot of gold and prio, and they can just disappear to my side of the map, and I can't push the Sion anymore. So if we would have taken that Herald there, then the whole game would have been different, because if we're the ones opening up the map and I'm the one, like for example, taking maybe full tower with 5 plates and a lot of gold, and I'm the one all of a sudden being everywhere on the map in the enemy jungle, taking all their camps and making Sion look useless, you know? But we just lost Herald against Sion, so that kind of gives him that's kind of like the critical timing for him, you know, where he starts losing really hard 1v1, but he kind of got a get out of jail free card with the Herald and opening up the map, and then he's like, my snowball stops. I don't have the tools to pressure him anymore, because he's always the one who has the tower behind him. I'm always overextended. He's the one having a bot lane. Like he has to do his job and tank for a bot lane that is like 2,000 gold ahead of mine, you know, not the other way around. Because if the roles were flipped, then he wouldn't be able to do anything at all, you know. So I just feel like, even though with the mistake with the draft by not picking top later there, I feel like it was still playable. We just messed up on the Herald situation, and I feel like we can't really afford to do that mistake against Sion, at least in the top matchup.
Hmm. Apart from this loss, I want to talk specifically about the matches against G2, because it's like the best team in Europe at the moment, and it's the only team above you guys. So um, uh, G2 is being better on these first games on the season. So I want to ask you, what do you think that you guys need to improve in order to take down G2 on a potential BO5, for example?
I don't think our losses against them have been due to the fact that they're like better or they outplay us. I feel like the last game we played in like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I forgot when it was. Um, the way we lost this game is just because we kind of weren't really on the same page with Inspired and Larson on what they needed. Because I feel like Larson was winning lanes super hard, and they had like a snowbally comp, and the Lucian was behind, and our Azir still had TP. And I feel like if that play doesn't happen where Lucian kills Azir, if we play the situation properly, then Lucian's gonna be forced to use potions again. Azir is just gonna base TP back to lane with item advantage and more potions, and it's gonna be back to being perma pressured on the tower. And we had kind of like a comp that had, I think, 3 pushing lanes, or I'm not sure, maybe I'm mistaken about bot lane. but we had a comp that was winning super hard early game, and we lost the early game. And yeah, it's just our snowball stopped from minute 3, because I feel like it was again one of those comps where we can just push so hard, take Herald, and have priority on Herald, and just be able to pressure the map like fully, you know. And I just feel like the reason we lost is kind of on us, you know. We failed at basic well, not really basic understanding, but we failed at understanding what we needed to do in that situation, you know. And I feel like their play that they did on us was a misplay in the first place, because it should never be like, we should never allow them to do that, you know. It's not like they got creative and outplayed us, you know. We just made a mistake and kind of gave them the game. That's at least the second game. And the first one, I think, when we had, what was it? It was the Quinn game where they had this 1-3-1 comp. I feel like it was the same thing. If I remember correctly, we allowed them to swap, or we didn't really play the situation out well, where we needed to match their swap, and they get Herald with a comp that has Echo and Quinn, and we have Renekton and Azir. So I feel like that was like our big window to force team fights around like minute 10, 15, 20, where we have like, you know, just a front line and they don't really have a front line. And if we would have like forced and played the map accordingly, I feel like even though they have like Quinn and to like outskill me really hard, I think we would be able to get like, you know, sit on 3 Drakes, Herald, open up the map. And if you manage to force the team fight at like minute 23 or 24 for the soul against a comp like that, then I feel like that's kind of your win condition, you know. But if you give them even the smallest of objectives, I feel like you're kind of losing that game. But at the same time, yeah, it's massive props to them. They made it work, and they found the swap window that we didn't really think of, or we weren't really like, you know, as aware of it as we should have been. And yeah, I mean, Draft could have been better that game as well. There were things that we didn't really like expect. We had the option to ban Quinn there, but we felt like if they have Quinn, Nidalee, and Echo, their comp looks really bad. So we opted to go into it, because I was like, it's not gonna beat me up, or like it's not gonna be destroying me in lane, you know. And it didn't, because I felt like I was even until like minute 10, and I didn't really like fall behind, and being even at minute 10 is a win, you know. And prior to that, I felt like there was a moment where I blew both of his sums and I didn't use any of my sums. And that's when the swap happened. I felt like if the swap didn't happen, we kept laning 1v1, 2v2, we would be able to get Herald and pressure, and Quinn wouldn't be able to pressure anymore because she has no sums. So I feel like we had a lot of like good situations that we created, but we weren't really able to take advantage of them, again, just because I feel like it was on us, you know, to take advantage of it, not on them to outplay us, you know. So I feel like we just ended up being short on those situations, and yeah, I feel like going into playoffs, if we face them, I think it's gonna be a different game, because I never felt like they're the ones who are outplaying us. I felt like we're the ones making the mistakes.
As I mentioned, you guys had chances of finishing on the first spot until like the last couple of games or the last game. So, how was your change personally from last year when you were on Schalke? That was like the underdog or an underdog team, and now people expect Broke to win or to be on the top. So how did your role in the team change from last year too, and your role in the team in general? Yeah.
I don't think it changed much. I think it's kind of just like the same thing, you know. I feel like I'm doing kind of the same things I was doing in Schalke, at least in terms of like communication and playstyle. So I feel like I didn't really need to do this big transition coming into Rogue, you know. It's just like I'm happy to be here and be able to like compete again for like one of the top spots. And the pressure is a welcome change, because before in Schalke you had the pressure that you're not gonna make playoffs and you're losing every game, as sad as that sounds. But now the pressure is that we are facing really good teams and we need to win these games against really good teams, you know. So it's a feeling that I missed, that I haven't been close to for a while. And yeah, I mean, I'm sweating just as much as I did in the Schalke days. You know, I'm playing every game as it's like, you know, the last game, or like every game is a win. We need to win every game, because that's kind of like the reality of it. If we want to achieve great things with Rogue, then we have to win every game. We need to put in a lot of effort, and I'm personally still on the same kind of like mindset that I've been in with Schalke, where I feel like every game I need to get the most out of it, and I need to get better with every game. Else, I'm letting my team down.
You mentioned that you have a long career already at the moment. So now with the MVP votes that are open, a lot of people are calling out your name. So I want to ask you if you think that you are on your peak level of your career, and if so, why do you think that you are on that level at the moment?
I mean, I would say I'm at my peak right now because it's like the highest level I played so far of like League of Legends, and it's mostly just because I feel like I've been through a lot of failures in the past. Like I've been through rosters that were really, really good. For example, 2016 H2K was really good. We had a lot of talent there, and I felt like I didn't really get the most out of that roster just because I feel like I wasn't as good back then as I am now, and that's mostly just because of experience. I've been through so many situations, like good and bad, and there's so many like mistakes I made that I fixed so far. And like compared to 2016, in these like 4 years, there's been so many mistakes that I fixed about like my gameplay, that I didn't even know existed back then. So it's just yeah, I mean, in a way, it's kind of natural. There's always mistakes that you find, you fix them, and you move on. So it's like looking back at my games, I'm like, oh yeah, everyone's like, I was really good at Worlds in 2016, but now I look at it and the mechanical like misplays or mistakes that I make, I'm like, ooh, I would be embarrassed to play like that today. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of natural progression. Even though I've been playing for so long, I'm still like really dedicated and motivated. I still have a lot of fun playing. So when you have a lot of things to like fix, a lot of mistakes to fix, then it's only gonna make you better.
I want to talk about the rivalry with Fnatic, which historically has been like the team that is always on the first or second place, no matter the roster they have. So this year, you guys are clearly taking over that spot. So what do you think that makes you a better team than them? And what are your thoughts on Rogue ending or being the team that could end this like G2 Fnatic monologue winning the LEC during their years?
I mean, I think Fnatic losing Reckless is kind of like the nail in the coffin, I guess. I'm not saying that they're always gonna be bad or anything now, but I feel like always the constant of that roster, whenever they were like, even making roster swaps, picking up new players and not really being as dominant, the fact that he was there was always kind of like this safety net for them, that this guy is so good that no matter what happens, he's still gonna be like top 2, top 3, and when the time comes, they're gonna like rival G2. But I feel like now they kind of lost their main engine. I said it at the beginning of the year, when now that Reckless is gone, who's gonna stop the Int when 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 the Int starts there? Because he was always this one that was always flawless positioning, always doing his job, perfect team fights, and all of this stuff. So yeah, now you have the potential to be more brawly, and I think they showed us this split that they really like to fight a lot, and when they pick up good fights, it's really really good. But at the same time, they're picking up a lot of bad fights, and I don't know, maybe with time they're gonna get better. But right now, I think they just have too many flaws in their wouldn't really say roster, but in their like team dynamic, I guess. So yeah, I think they need more time to kind of make this playstyle work, because this playstyle is kind of like high risk, high reward, and it's not something that a lot of teams are comfortable with. But if they manage to refine it and make it really good, then it might be something like dangerous for the future.
Now talking a bit about your role, I want to ask you about the level of the top lane in Europe, and if there is any top laner that surprised you this split, maybe some of the new rookies, Hyrit or Sigenda, something like that, or what do you think about the level in general of the role in Europe at the moment?
I feel like it's the same story every year. The veterans are going out in summer, the rookies coming into spring. Rookies are not really so good in spring, I guess, but come summer split, they become usually better than the veterans that left the year before that. So I feel like by then, by like summer split, the level is gonna be higher. Right now, it's kind of the same, I would say, which is I guess a good sign for the potential of summer split. But for rookies, even though Misfits didn't really make it, I feel like hit it for like the first couple of weeks was kind of surprising, just because I didn't really expect much of the rookies coming in. I mean, Armut came in, but he's not really a rookie, so can't really put him in that category. But Hit was someone that I didn't really like know much of, and I didn't really, I wasn't really like, wow, this guy's gonna be insane, like knowing his name or whatever. But after a couple of weeks, I feel like he was playing really well, and it was a really nice surprise for me that someone like him is playing, because people really like underrated him, and he was playing pretty well for a while. But that's mostly it for top lane rookies. I feel like everyone else is just kind of is playing, is doing their job. It's just no one's really a standout.
And finally, playoffs are super close now. So I mentioned at the beginning that you are very consistent on the BO1s, but I want to know what do you expect from BO5s, especially because it's your first BO5 with Rogue 2. So what do you expect from you, from your team, and also from the other teams? What teams do you think that are going to step up on playoffs?
I mean, for sure, G2 is going to step up for playoffs to BO5 because they're the team that is traditionally or like historically most flexible. They have a lot of styles they like to play. As for us, I think we need to figure out the patch really well because there's a new patch coming in for playoffs, and we need to prepare a lot of drafts that are going to be good. Because if you switch side from blue to red and you might get stumped by some of their picks, you need to be able to adapt and make sometimes difficult situations of leaving OP picks open to just kind of take out their comfort picks and stuff like this. So I feel like going into best of 5 is a completely different beast to tackle, but I think we have enough time to figure out the patch and have good prep going into the game against Mad.
So this is everything. Thank you very much, Odoamne, for your time, and good luck on the playoffs. Hope you can make it into the finals and into the MSI.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye bye.